Welcome into Out of the Parks with John Marks. I'm your co-host, Sam Stafford, alongside, of course, John Marks and the one, the only Maniac Malloy. Before we get into stuff, guys, today, Maniac, tell them what to do.
You have to log in. I'm listening to myself and my messing me up. You have to like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. What are we doing here, people? We're just trying to make a living. Get on that YouTube. Subscribe to the Parx YouTube channel. Subscribe to John Mark's YouTube channel. Like, comment, enjoy.
Okay, guys, I am notorious for saying that nothing matters in baseball until after the All-Star break. But after the Phillies 10-1 win over the Dodgers last night, it's mid-July, before the All-Star break, before the trade deadline, and I am all in on this Phillies team. And I've decided after last night that I am 100% the Phillies must win the World Series or it's a bust and I'm going to be devastated. I'm at that point.
Welcome to the party.
Yeah, so that's my hardcore statement after last
night.
I am all in.
You know, it's a real shame.
Sizzling take.
It's a sizzling take. It's hot.
I'm in. I can't. What can I say?
It's a shame they were missing Mookie, right? He didn't play last night.
No, he's out till after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
But we also had a pull our starter that was doing fantastic after 5 innings.
Yeah.
But it's also, to your point, Sam, at this point, like at this stage of where we are, they lose Trea Turner, they lose Bryce Harper, they lose Kyle Schwarber, Zach Wheeler may have a back problem. They're losing this play. They lose JT. They've lost All-Star after All-Star after All-Star, and it doesn't phase the team. It doesn't. Yeah. And then you see what happens when they come back. And now you have Bryce back. Now you have Schwarber back. And you look at the lineup and you're like, wow, I don't even know if they need JT at this point. Just saying they're Maniac Malloy.
Ooh.
But once JT gets back, I mean, this team, they have the look, don't they? Don't they have the look of a team that isn't going to lose? These guys are different. This team is different.
Right.
And I agree with you 100%, Sam. They got to win. They got to win a World Series. Let's get there first.
I'll take a sizzling hot take right now.
Yeah.
Zach Wheeler is going to come back. He's fine. He's got a little back tightness. He'll be fine. Zach Wheeler is going to win the Cy Young.
That's not sizzling.
Book it.
Well, yeah, he's been the favorite. He's been the favorite.
I mean, it's not sizzling, but he's going to win it. Like, I know it right now. Load up now. No more of this Ranger Suarez betting on him or anybody else. Over. Load up. Start to sock it away for Zach Wheeler to be your Cy Young award.
Well, talking about Zach Wheeler, I want to know, Maniac, you're really obviously not nervous about the lower back tightness. But last night, John, I listened to the pregame or postgame show and you hear Rob come out and he's like, no, it was just a precaution, really calm me. And I was like, oh, let's go, baby. Like, this is nothing. And then you hear Zach Wheeler talk in the post game, and he reveals that it's actually something that happened last week before they went on the road trip. That's why he didn't look great in one of his starts on the road. And last night, it was just something that he tweaked. So that put me right back into a little bit of a panic mode. Either way, I'm still all in Phillies winning the World Series, but it did make me very nervous hearing that from Zach. What about you guys?
Yeah, he tweaked it, no doubt about it. I didn't see him tweak it live, but when they showed the replay, he tweaked it. And at first, I thought it was maybe like a groin or a hammy. You could just tell like something happened. And then when he talked after the game, he said, "No, it actually happened before." So he should not pitch in the All-Star game.
Right.
Like he probably
perfect timing for this.
It really is, right? Like he doesn't pitch again until after the All-Star break. He just doesn't. Like I don't need to see him back out there. Take your time. The Phillies have built up such a big lead here where like even in July you wouldn't put an injured player out there, but you really like you just have to keep winning as many games as you lose because you've built such a big lead here. So when Bryce Harper goes down and Schwarber goes down, you're not hard pressed and trying to make up ground. So I mean, listen, Sam, at some point these injuries, I just talked about it. How many All-Stars are you going to lose to injury? And now with Mercado got lit up, and now you don't feel great about that fifth starter spot.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll talk about Mercado in a second. But it's concerning. And I talked to Jim Salisbury last week, longtime Phillies writer and columnist. And
Absolutely.
I was talking about the depth that they have at starting pitching. And he's like, listen, a lot of times you'll need 8, 9, 10 starters over the course of a season. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that this year. So there's only so far you can go before you start getting really thin. But yeah, it's not great. It's not good that he hurt his back. So let's just hope it's not something serious.
And John, to your point, so it is something that we've seen, and it's been really frustrating seeing all our all-stars get injured. But if there is any positivity, it's the perfect time to, especially before the all-star break, like you said, before the trade deadline, because then you know how serious the injuries are. And if it is a position that you really do need to look up to get some more depth in. So it is a bright side that we have it at this time. But I do want to point out that is what makes this team so special. Because John, you said that, but we aren't the only team that's been hurt. The Yankees have had some adversity. The Dodgers have had injuries now. The Braves have had injuries. We've now gotten all these big injuries, and we are the one that's really persevered, knock on wood, and really just lit things up. And last night we did see Bryce and Kyle Schwarber come back, and they weren't even the ones that, I mean, granted, their presence probably really lit up the team and made a lot of things, just everybody happier and played a part for sure. Yes. But they weren't the ones, the superstars that came back that won that game for them. It was Trea Turner obviously knocked it open, but also the lower end of the lineup. So it's just this full team just can do it. And that's what makes this team so special. And I am on board. I'm telling you guys.
Only took you to July?
Well, no, because I wanted them to win before, but the season has been so great. That's what's making it different. Is like it's been so great. So it's like I could still celebrate this season and not be upset if they don't win it all. I'm 100% bought in that they have to win it all because it's right there for them. Like if they don't, they are doing something wrong and it's going to make me upset.
It's also one thing to say the Phillies will win the World Series and predict it. It's another thing, and this is what Sam is saying, being like, no, this team's winning the World Series. So like where you have conviction in what you're watching. Which is, wow, they lose all-stars. It doesn't matter. They have such great depth. The bullpen's been really good. You know, so I just went and looked at it real fast. They're 2 games over 500 with JT out of the lineup. Since JT last played, Phillies are 14-12, which is like, you know, that's not great, but it's 2 games over 500, right? Like they're not falling apart because during that time, who was out? Trea Turner was still out at the beginning of that, I think.
At the very beginning, yeah.
Bryce missed time. Schwarber missed time. So you have
Marsh was out.
Marsh missed time. So you were missing all-star players and all-star caliber players during it, and they don't miss a beat. So, you know, Ranger hasn't looked great last couple times out. Sanchez didn't look great. I think that was his last start that he was out. He got hit around a little bit.
It lit up like a Christmas tree.
Mercado, listen. I may have been giving Mercado the 5th starting job. Maniac Malloy. I'm no longer giving him the 5th starter job.
Yeah, you were really both of you were very confident in this guy, and
not so much.
He got absolutely lit up. It's the next man up mentality for this squad. It's the next man up mentality. You love that out of your ball club because the goal is the goal. The goal is the World Series. The goal's been the World Series since the first pitch in spring training. That doesn't change no matter who's out there. And they're backing it up. Trea Turner, we talked about it last week, had to put the team on his back. He's done that a few times here in the last week. Like I said, too, it's going to take a little bit of pressure off him maybe as well. Now having Bryce back and having Schwarber back, I love your point, Sam, of going into the All-Star break with where we are and guys coming back, guys also being injured right before the trade deadline. Now you're going to be able to really analyze where you want to go and who you want to get. They're obviously going to make some moves. I would like to see them get somebody that's a half decent 5th starter without injury problems, but I don't know if that's going to happen because you are tied to Taijuan Walker with that huge amount of money that you owe him. So you almost have to trot him out there to fail before you can replace him. Other than that,
starter again, Pat. He's going to be starting again when he comes back.
He is.
He's going to be the starter because Turnbull going down sucks because he's mid-August, right? Mercado's like, oh man, I don't know about this guy. So yeah, Taijuan Walker's going to come back and he's going to be starting again.
Yeah, make Mercado the long reliever out of the bullpen. How about that?
I was
like
just going to
that
say,
role
why
for
can't
him.
you combine them? Because Walker, the problem with him was he wasn't giving us enough innings. So you get 4 innings out of him. You get 2 to 3 out of Mercado. You get Turnbull when he comes back. Why not just have a solid bullpen game? It's not
I'm not
obviously
against it.
ideal
I just
always,
can't
but if you
see-
have that clump of guys.
just when you put Taiwan out there, I mean, you might be just spotting him 4 to 5 runs. You know, if
Yeah.
he really doesn't have it, if he really leaves it over the plate, which seems to be what his big problem is. And plus, he's like, I mean, I know he was. I mean, first of all, hold on a second. Where is he? It's a blister on his hand. Like, how long do you have to sit out?
Oh, I had it written down. I think it's like right after the All-Star break or something.
Yeah, I think they told him, hey, don't rush it. We want to make sure you're very healthy, Taiwan. Don't rush it.
Hey,
Well,
buddy,
I
we're
think
really
it's
worried.
maybe something more than
I agree.
a blister. I think he's got like a dead arm because he would throw like 97 at top out. And then I think the last time I saw him pitch, which seems like 3 weeks ago, you know, he was hitting 91, 92 fastball
at most. And he's been relying on, and it's like a high slider. And I mean, it's not a great pitch. He was getting outs with it. He was even getting strikeouts with it.
Right.
But it's going up there like 85 and 86. He did not want to throw his fastball, especially in situations where teams knew it was coming. That's what happened in his last start. It's like, all right, the fastball's coming. You're not throwing 90 miles an hour. These guys are going to be, especially when it's straight and it's right down the middle.
Well, it seems that's the problem with Walker too, is you run that fine line because sometimes it works to your point, but then it just takes that one inning where it seems like he just gets lit up and it's like they left him just too long, even though it's hard because it's only like 4 innings. So you don't want to pull anybody, but it's almost like they run that fine line of just pulling him before he gets lit up.
Yeah. I think coming into the season, his biggest thing was also control, right? Like he walked a lot of guys. Now it's like, it's not really control. It's just his stuff and leaving it over the middle now. Yeah. So it's like now when he throws strikes, he gets lit up. But you know what? He's a worry on this team. He's not a huge worry.
5th starter, right, Pat?
Yeah,
starter. I mean, yeah. What are we complaining about here? You know,
but to my point,
first place problems.
To my point, Pat, and that's one of the things that gives me the confidence. Last year, they thought, because you saw him pick up again in June, like they always do, and they thought that they had enough to push them over the edge. And obviously they didn't because they fell flat against Arizona and they should not have. So I feel like that is all the motivation you need. And I have full confidence in Dombrowski in this front office that they're going to do something that elevates this team even more. The first place Philadelphia Phillies are going to get better before the trade deadline comes and goes. So that's what makes me have even more confidence in this team.
It's a great point. Dombrowski is one of the best GMs that we've had, and we've had some good GMs here, but he's a lot like Gillick, right? Where Ed Wade was the GM, and Ryan Howard, Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley, like they had real talent on the team. He couldn't finish it. He every year at the trade deadline, remember Turk Wendell and Dennis Cook they traded for because they needed bullpen help. It seemed like at the trade deadline, Ed Wade made moves and they never worked. And Pat Gillick comes in. He traded for Matt Stairs. Matt Stairs has one of the biggest home runs in franchise history, right? It doesn't have to be a big move. He made mistakes.
Yeah.
Pat Gillick made mistakes. Dave Dombrowski's made mistakes. We were just talking to him, Taiwan Walker. But damn, does he not know what he's doing? And Sam, you're right. He knows. And we'll talk about it coming up to the deadline. Is it a reliever? Is it a starter? Is it an outfielder? David Dahl got designated for assignment because he stopped hitting.
Yeah.
So, that might
it's going to be a right-handed bat. It's got to be a right-handed bat. Maybe a little Seiya Suzuki from the Cubs. It's going to be somebody like that. It's going to be a name.
Do you guys think they'll pull off the trade for Robert or no?
No.
I don't think so because you're tied. Your center field spot is, you got Marsh, you got Johan, who,
is right back in the majors, and they're happy with him being back, right?
Yeah, if you get Luis Robert, then like he's your center fielder de facto, and he strikes out a lot. He strikes out a ton. You already have too many guys in your lineup that strike out a little bit too much. You need a good 20 home run guy, somebody that's can hit a blast for you off the bench or give you a little spell. It's going to be a name of somebody that you're like, oh, okay. And then he's going to have a huge hit for you sometime, and then you're going to be like, that was the best move. I mean, Whit Merrifield is the guy that's really just kind of killing you right now. It's a shame with him. Thought he was going to be a lot more productive than he has been. So a guy like that, and people are talking about like just letting him walk for that $8 million that they gave him, but you can't do that. You can't do that, even though he's hitting under 200 or whatever. You got to kind of have to see that one through, my boy.
Yeah. That, to your point, that is one of those moves, though, that you kind of expect. I agree with you in that fact that it's not going to be the big flashy move. They don't necessarily need that big flashy move. They just need to get better.
And you don't want to mess around with this chemistry too much of the team. Like Robert, I think, not that he's a bad guy or anything, but like he's a superstar. Like he really is. He just happens to be playing for the White Sox. I don't think that's gonna happen. Yeah, too many strikeouts for me.
Talking about superstars, guys. So we've kind of hit on the All-Star voting
for
a while, and we have 7 All-Stars.
That feels really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, remember all those seasons where you'd have the one guy. This makes me think of the year we had Pat Neshek as our lone All-Star representative.
And I hated him.
Not but a few years ago. Now we got Matty Strom in that same role, not quite a closer, but a reliever out of the bullpen. That's the guy I'm probably the most proud of to see make the All-Star game is Matt Strom. I'm so psyched for him. He's obviously these guys are all baseball fans, but like him and his baseball cards and the show he's got and all that stuff, like good for him. Good for Matt Strom. He's the one I'm the most proud of for me.
Well, he definitely deserves it. But to your point also, Pat, like he's one of those guys, though, that you don't think about. He's just quietly plays his role and he does it well.
Right. And like he's not an end of the, game bullpen reliever. He's, kind of like in the middle of. And so those guys do often get overlooked. Yeah. So it's nice to see he gets the recognition he deserves.
Yeah. So just real quick. Pitchers, we have Wheeler, Ranger, Matt Strom, Jeff Hoffman. And then position players, we have Harper, Bohm, and Trea Turner. And before we really get you coming in on this, John, I just want to give Trea Turner his flowers because Mark tweeted this out earlier from our Bet Parx account. Since that standing ovation on August 4th last year, Trea Turner is batting .341 with 157 hits, 33 doubles, 27 home runs, 74 RBIs in 113 games. And just since in July, when we really needed him, and we've talked about this, he is batting .342 with 342 so far this season. He's batting .414 with 5 home runs, 13 RBIs in just July. So Trea is absolutely killing it. And Mark has that grand slam because it was a Tuesday yet again.
Ball left field. Going back, Vargas toward the wall. It is gone. Grand slam. Trea Turner.
My boy Bobby Miller got absolutely lit up.
He did indeed.
I got some Bobby Miller cards that are maybe worth a little bit of money. So they went down. They went down big time last night.
They went down in value.
But I did get the under in the first inning. I put that one out on the old story there. Hit that one. The under was under half a run in the first inning plus 105 with Wheeler and Bobby. That took that one. That was a nice little bet. And then he got promptly lit up in the third inning, I believe.
It's not his fault going against the red hot Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, there you go.
But John, how awesome to you is it to have these 7 All-Stars coming from the Phillies?
Even last night's game, when you go up 8-0 in a game, it's like, this is put your feet up. You don't have to worry about anything. And they're the best games. They're the fun games. So that was fun last night. It's wild how you go from, I don't even care about the All-Star game this year because you're, like you said, Pat Neshek is your one representative. And it's like, oh, great. And the guy that won't even pitch on like 3 nights in a row. You remember that about Pat Neshek?
Yeah. He would refuse to go out 3 nights in a row.
Yeah, like Larry Anderson, I think he warmed up like 80 straight days, was either in the game or he warmed up like 80 straight games or something like that. But anyway, it's Jeff Hoffman. We were talking about Dave Dombrowski earlier. And anybody, I guess, in baseball could have had him. The Phillies claimed him. He was released. He was designated for assignment. Phillies picked him up. I don't know if they knew they were getting an all-star reliever who now pretty much, wouldn't you guys agree, he's the closer
Yeah.
on the team right now? They'll go to Alvarado. I have the most confidence when Hoffman's in there.
Yeah.
For sure. So
And
Dombrowski picks up a closer on the scrap heap, which is crazy.
well, truly, Bryce Harper is the reason why this guy's on the team and probably
That's
why
right.
he is an all-star.
That's
I mean,
right.
that story is just fantastic. I mean, they're definitely going to talk about that and hype that up like crazy with the minute he gets in the game at the all-star game, how Harper was on assignment, rehab assignment, getting ready and facing Hoffman and saying, wait, why is this guy not pitching in our bullpen? And then within the next 10 days, he's up on the team and in the ball game. That's crazy. I mean, he bumped around too. He was on a bunch of different teams. I think he was with the Cardinals. He was with the might have been with the Blue Jays. He bumped around with a bunch of different teams, and then finally Bryce Harper found him. So he owes Bryce Harper big time.
Bryce Harper definitely has that LeBron James aspect to him where he just is so good at the game and his mind's just so like baseball warped that he just would make a great GM and
future GM of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Who knows? I could see it. Part owner.
Yeah.
I
put all this money back into it.
I think he partly is the GM of the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah, he partly is. Yeah.
Yeah, he's I mean, you look at any of these moves that are made, it's like Bryce Harper has his fingerprints on this team. He does, man. He's a good recruiter. And
it's like it goes back to even like when you played ball as a kid. Like you always wanted to be, you have like teams, you have like 3 or 4 guys, the rest of the guys can't make a play. Like you want to be around good ball players. Like Bryce Harper is just a magnet for anybody that, they want to learn from him too. Young guys want to learn from him. People want to just be around the guy. So he's
and to that point,
doing
Pat,
his job.
To that point, he started by doing that, having guys just want to be a part of him. But then now it's even bigger. He's brought in superstars. It's like, I want to be a part of that whole facility because it's Bryce Harper. It's Trea Turner, who looks like he's prime Trea Turner again. It's Kyle Schwarber. It's Nick Castellanos, who still is Nick Castellanos. He still has that star power in him. So it's just like this whole, and then not to mention all the
those are all Harper guys.
Exactly.
Bryce and Stott. I mean, he's like a little miniature Harper wannabe.
Yep.
Speaking of him, how's he doing this year? How do we feel about Bryce?
You mean our 26-year-old that's in a little bit of a slump in the middle of July and that started in June? I'm not worried about Bryson Stott one bit.
There. A little defensive there.
Yeah, are you sure?
I didn't come at you. I just asked you how you feel about him.
Yeah, I think you knew the answer she was going to give you there, Maniac.
Yeah.
So I'll say this. I think when you look at his numbers, you're almost surprised. You're surprised. You're like, yeah, that's what he's only hitting at. Or it feels like, sometimes in Name the Sport where you look at a guy's stats and you're like, he's not that good of a player, right? Like he's really like, you look at the numbers, Bryson Stott's a better player than his numbers will probably show you in a lot of seasons. He's 26. He's not 23 or 24 anymore. So the big thing is him getting the big hits and the at-bats when you need them. And I mean, Pat, he really hasn't had a great year so far if you look at it, but it hasn't mattered with this team because of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
I haven't lost confidence in him. I definitely have the confidence with the guy. When they started to bring him up, I started to have the flashbacks of Dominic Brown, John Mayberry, Cody Ashley, like that sort of stuff. Because like when you turn it over to him and you say, all right, you're the second baseman. All right. Like it's almost like that same situation as Taijuan Walker. You're like locked in, like you can't, once you go, there's no going back. Once you put him in the starting lineup, there's no going back. You can't send him down to Lehigh. Like
look at Kingery, right?
Burn the boats. You got to burn the boats. And he's going through a little bit of a down patch. But I got confidence in him.
No worries.
Yeah, well, and also to our point, yes, he's 26, so he is entering that prime, and he was hot earlier this season. He's dipped off, which is normal for guys. But him being as young as he was and showing up in NLCS's World Series like he did, he's going to be fine. And
no Cody Ashley.
And like what we just talked about, the most important effect, he's backed by Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is all balled in
he's a
on
made
him.
man.
And
He's a made man.
he's going to get his shot. And Bryce wouldn't put his name on the line. If he didn't believe in him, I don't think he would push him as much as he's done to this organization. So I believe in him. I believe in Bryce's faith in him.
Needs to get some more hits. That's all. Speaking
And
of
he
which,
knows that.
Speaking of which, I am looking at the stats right now.
Of him?
No. So Trea Turner, first of all, the All-Star game is kind of a joke. Let's be honest here. Marcell Ozuna should absolutely be a starter in the All-Star game. He's got the best stats at his position. Another one, I'm happy to see Trea Turner in the All-Star game. But like a guy like Francisco Lindor is really having like an awesome year. He's got 16 home runs. I think he's got, let's see here. He's got 48 RBIs. He's got better numbers besides average than Trea Turner.
But why don't you go buy a Met ticket and go watch them up in New York there?
Well, that's what I was going to say, John. It's not our fault that Philadelphia Phillies fans are way better than Atlanta Braves and New York Mets fans.
Yeah, you'd think that he would get the votes, but
to your point, Pat, like that's something that does suck about it being a fan-based voting, because it's not going to be 100% accurate. You're going to see favoritism and bias in it. But to MLB's point, you kind of care about that, because if the Philadelphia Phillies fans care enough to vote for these guys so much, they're going to be the ones watching. The Mets fans that don't even care to vote, they're probably not going to watch.
Normally, I saw an Instagram video of an All-Star game in 1993, and John Kruk was the starting first baseman. Lenny was starting in center field. John Kruk was batting cleanup, and because the Phillies were really good that year. Normally, when your team's really good, you're going to get your fans are coming to the game. You're excited about the product. So vote him in. When your team sucks, the Mets fans don't care about Lindor. They hate him. They want him to be bad so they can boo him again. Right.
That's a very good point.
Yeah. So I'll enjoy it. Like I had said before, when freaking Pat Neshek was the Phillies All-Star, I wasn't watching it. F that. When the Phillies are, I can't wait. Bomer. No, hold on. By the way, bullish on Bohm. Just got to say, if we take our losses, our lumps, Maniac Malloy, we've been bullish on Bohm. Bohm's in the home run derby this year. I can't wait for the home run derby.
What are your thoughts on that, John?
He's going to lose.
He's
going to lose. I hope he doesn't embarrass himself. I don't know.
Maybe not.
It's not as embarrassing now with the new rules, though, because it's not like you're head-to-head with somebody. It's just like whoever doesn't.
Who was it last year that looked really bad, though? I think it was Mookie Betts or it might have been. Was Bo Bichette in it last year? And
somebody did.
It might have been. I think it was Mookie. He was just hitting line drives after line drive. He had no home runs. Yeah, he's too good of a hitter.
Right. So I actually think Bohm can surprise some people, because he does have good power. He just is comfortable putting the ball in play. Going with a pitch that's outside, not trying to do too much with another pitch. So maybe knowing that the only thing he's going to be doing is hitting a home run, he can kind of sit back and just boom, launch those suckers. We'll see.
Listen, I'm going to take a positive approach at this. I am excited for him. Do I think he's going to win? Probably not. Though I think he'll probably surprise people in the numbers he puts up. Probably. I hope that it doesn't mess up his swing. I hope that what it does is it actually maybe he gets into more of a home run swing. We need him to hit home runs. One of the things that does drive me a little bit crazy about him is that he's a enormous, huge third baseman. Your corner guys are supposed to be your power guys. He needs more power in his swing. For his trajectory as his career.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting there. He's been good. He's been good this year. Believe me, 2 years ago,
he hit some one singles. Row in. Do they still count?
Yeah, he's not hitting the moon shots.
No,
to your
no
point.
Moon shots.
But and I think I was just thinking this. Bohm going to this first All-Star game, and he's a starter. And you said he's a corner, the corner infielders people look at. We're like, oh, third baseman. But he this is the coming out party for Alec Bohm. I don't know how many people around fans that aren't maybe big Major League Baseball fans, but they love their own team, that they know a lot about Alec Boehm or they've watched a lot of Boehm, to where Bryce Harper, Schwarber, these big stars. This is his coming out party. This is an opportunity with the home run derby and being a starter in the game. He can have people being like, wow. So when the question's asked, who's the best third baseman, Alec Boehm is the first or one of the first names that you think of. We're not there yet. And he could go to the All-Star between the home run derby and everything else, and he could come out of that being like, damn, I am a star. And play like it, right? Because I don't know if
I just love his blooper hits. I love his banjo shots, his dying quails. I just don't want them to go away in favor of long pop outs into the outfield.
He's doing just fine right now. He's a star.
I was going to say,
I love it when he fists a ball, just misses a barrel, and it just dives in. Those are my favorite hits.
But sometimes you also have to realize, like, maybe he's just a high baseball IQ, because that's what he needs to do in a lot of those situations. He's just trying to get the runner to advance, and you know what I mean? So it's not all.
I'm not questioning his baseball IQ at all.
No, I'm just saying.
I'm just accusing his. Putting his regular IQ on for just being in this event and having no chance.
No, he doesn't. But he has nothing to lose in that point. And John, to your point, we talked about that a long time ago when I put out that reel about us talking about Boehm and being an all-star. It was the fact that we considered him one of the best third basemen in the league, and especially at the time we should have, and he still is up there. But to everybody else in the league, you don't hear his name because he is just that quiet guy. He does what he needs to do. He does it quietly, and he helps this team. But it's also hard when you have guys on this roster like Kyle Schwarber, Trea Turner, Bryce Harper that are always going to get looked at first.
Yeah.
Especially he's a farm system guy. He didn't come from anywhere, so nobody else even knows his name unless you.
I know the ladies of Philadelphia love some Alec Boehm, so hopefully now he gets to show it off on the national stage. That
what are you talking about showing off? What are you referring to?
Just big, tall, dark, and handsome. That's him, man.
He's kind of blondish
with the curl. Yeah, I guess he's light.
I was hanging out with his mom and dad, drinking with his mom and dad one night.
Are they good drinkers? What were they drinking?
Probably just beer. No, they weren't hammered. They weren't hammered. And when they found out that I did sports radio, and you could see the mom, because the mom had like argued with some people on Twitter about him, I think at one point.
Nice.
So like her like it's going in her head like, do I know this guy? Has he ripped him? Has he ripped him?
Oh, I love that.
Which I didn't. No, they were very, very nice people. Very, very nice people. I was.
You're bullish on Boehm. That's all you got to tell them.
I'm like maybe not as much at the time, but yes. Yeah, good people. I'm thrilled for him, and I like you guys said, I just want to see him smash home runs.
Yeah,
he has nothing to lose. I honestly think he'll be more comfortable in the home run derby than he will be starting in the All-Star game, because that's where he's always been criticized, is his defense over at third. So I feel like he's going to be more comfortable there.
So we'll see. Parx app take action on the home run derby?
Oh, absolutely. Right, so
is it up there? I'm looking for it.
I don't know if it's up there yet.
It may not be up there yet.
Probably have to give it a little bit of time here.
Yeah,
they usually wait. But speaking of the Parx app, so we always have the Cy Young watch. To your point earlier, and we talked about it, Wheeler is still the favorite for the Cy Young, as he should, at plus 120. He was at plus 175, so he's creeping up.
Yeah,
but
look out for Chris Sale.
Also creeping up, Chris Sale right behind him at plus 125.
It's pretty much
even. I feel like he's going to fall off.
It's pretty much even right now between Sale and Wheeler.
But Chris Sale, has he ever had a healthy season in his entire career?
Yeah, when he won the Cy Young.
He was
healthy. But
when was that?
I think the first year with Boston, he won a World Series with Boston.
Yeah.
And he was really, really good. They gave him a new contract. This isn't his first contract. He signed an extension with them. Dombrowski signed him. That's why I thought the Phillies were going to be in on Sale, because Dombrowski has the history with him. But the Braves made an excellent trade. He's been really good. Can he stay healthy? We don't know, because it's been a while since he's been healthy. So
wait, I looked it up. So he didn't, because Mark was like, I don't think he won. So he was in. He was third in voting in 2010, but he was one of the favorites. Mark's green. And third in 2018, he said. So he was in the running a few times.
No, he didn't win one?
No.
He didn't win 20 games with Boston. He's been very good. All right, well, stand corrected.
I'm going Gunnar Henderson to win the home run derby. It's my boy.
Oh, I want to look that up. That's fun.
And Jose Ramirez too. I wonder if he'll switch sides at all.
Actually, wait.
Lefty one round, righty the next round.
Let's come back to the home run derby.
All right, come back
in our MLB segment. So right now, tell them what to do.
Like and subscribe. Okay,
so we're going to cleanse the palate just a little bit because there's not much really besides baseball in mid-July. We do have the Olympics coming up, but we'll be able to talk about that at a later date, really in depth. But Olympic USA basketball, men's basketball. The Clippers and Kawhi Leonard announced that they are not going to have him participate anymore, which is interesting. Does he still get a ring for that? I want to know. But so he's coming out. Okay. And they have announced since the news this morning that Derek White's going to fill his spot. But I'm curious because that was kind of random to me, but I'm also not the biggest NBA person. So maybe that is the right choice. But I'm curious who you guys would have filled in that spot.
I mean, I think they were looking for athleticism, defense, shooting the three. Derek White, who just got, I believe, a max contract from the Celtics, is really good. He's also really good in a role. He doesn't have to worry about being the first scoring option, the second scoring option. There's outside of Brown and Tatum, that's a deep team, right? So I think that he can fill a role without bringing in a guy that's the number one player on a team. So I think it makes sense as far as USA basketball. I mean, I would have went with Tobias Harris. I mean, certainly looking for a 3-and-D guy. If you're looking for a 3-point shooter, defense, he got robbed. I would have put Tobias Harris.
Absolutely got robbed.
I do.
The answer's Tyrese Maxey. Come on.
Well, for everybody watching, I do want to note it actually had to be a finalist that they had to choose from. So there was a certain list.
Oh, he was even a finalist?
That's why Tobias
That's why he didn't make
robbed.
it.
Yeah. No, I mean, Donovan Mitchell, he's not on there.
There's a lot. Paul George could have been an option.
No, I don't even want Embiid going. They both, no Sixers besides the young man, Tyrese Maxey would be the only one I'd be
Mikal Bridges, I think he would have been a good role player.
Bridges would have been a good one. I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell or Kyrie Irving. Why not Kyrie?
Kyrie's the last thing you want if you want like good chemistry and the flow of it. And
also, I think
they're all boys.
I think they wanted more size. Leonard's like a small forward. If he plays guard, he's a big guard, right? So, like Maxey and Kyrie a little bit shorter.
I know we're gonna wait to get into the Olympics, and we have all the time in the world, but
you can tease it.
I've been watching the show on Netflix. It's called Sprint, and it's about the 100-meter, 200-meter sprinters. The sprinters. Highly, highly, highly recommend you watch this right before the Olympics. It'll kind of let you know who's who, what's rivalries.
Is it just Team USA?
No, it's all around the world.
Okay, so that makes it more fun.
Is it a hard knock is it like a hard knocks for sprint?
It is.
That's cool.
It is. It's really good. The United States is in a really good spot. They have a guy by the name of Noah Lyles, and he's fast. You're going to want to watch him. He is entertainment at its finest. It's a really good show. It goes into a lot of things you don't even really know about sprinting, and man, it gets you excited for the Olympics. That's all.
John, I talked to Pat about this yesterday when he mentioned it to me, and it's something that's so just interesting because I feel like sprinters have to be the most like talented maybe besides gymnasts, but because it's just like natural talent. Like everybody in the world can go out and run and try to be fast. Like it has to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're talking about elite athletes. You're talking about like the athlete, like the athlete's athlete. I mean, yeah, all of them are jacked up. Anybody that can run that fast like they do, they're probably the world's best athletes.
I mean, it's always down to like, hundreds of a second though, so if you don't get a good start, if you
Late
if you're
coming out of the
thinking
gate.
about the wrong things, if you're psyched out, if you don't believe, it's all about like confidence is what the whole documentary really sheds light on. And it's cool because their mindset and how they attack their profession and how being confident, thinking you're going to win every single time you run, it's like a good little way of looking at life. It's like you got to be confident in like everything you do. It's cool. It's a really nice one to watch while you're eating some ice cream, sitting on your couch watching the
all these super in
fastest
shape
men and women in the world. And the women is actually more interesting to me because you have Jamaica, and the Jamaicans are like dominant in track and field. Well, not even track and field. They don't even consider that. They just sprinting. Okay. Sprinting is where they are the most dominant. Shelly Ann Fraser-Price, she's won 1,000,000 times. They have this Sharika Jackson, who is probably going to be the big rival to our Olympic hopeful, Sha'Carri Richardson. And she is a freaking character. Can't wait to see what happens in Paris.
I want to do a quick shout out just because. So I'm from Coatesville and I went to Coatesville High School, and we have a really
Rip
good
Hamilton.
track. Yeah, Rip Hamilton. But we have a really good track and field program, and our sprinters always won. And we had this girl when I was in school. She was like 2 years older than me. So 2012, she would have graduated. Kenya Woodall. And she actually was in like the Olympic trials and everything, and then ended up getting pregnant, and it ruined her chances.
Damn kids.
Yeah, right. No kidding. But she was so, just to your point about how athletic they were, she was so fun to watch because everybody be stretching, getting ready for the race. And she was so fast. She would be sitting in the corner with her headphones on, just like eating a snack. And they'd be like, "Oh, Kenya, your event's up." And she would literally take off her sweatpants, walk over, go run, absolutely demolish everyone. And it was just incredible. She wouldn't even stretch. Like, it was just so cool to watch. So
that is a fun show. Same ability. I don't have that ability. I got to stretch, man.
Yeah, me too.
And then you can run that fast, right?
Then I can run.
You have world-class speed, but you have to stretch first.
Got to stretch.
Yes.
Key.
Okay, so wrapping it back up to the USA men's basketball team. I would have probably done Bridges, but Derek White, you said, is not a bad option. But you would have went Tobias Harris, and you would have won Tyrese Maxey. So
Kyrie Irving. He's one of the best basketball players in the world.
Anybody but him.
Love him.
Hey, he didn't look great. He didn't look great in the finals, by the way. Just saying.
Speaking of the chemistry, too, there's actually that good documentary with the Dream Team.
Yeah.
About like the early 2000s one, just because they talk about the chemistry and how they had so many big personalities coming in, and some guys didn't make the team because they thought they wouldn't mesh well, even though they were the bigger superstar. So it's an interesting how it goes around. I love all these documentaries that go behind the scenes and show us. But moving back into baseball. So now we will go into the home run derby. I also have that trivia, the fun fact trivia that we can do. But I'm going to look up real fast.
Look it up.
Home run derby.
Who's in it?
Yeah.
Jose Ramirez, Marcell Ozuna, Bobby Witt Jr., Alec Bohm, Gunnar Henderson, Polar Bear Pete Alonso.
Always in it.
And I think that's it.
Is he looking for 3 straight or 3-time?
He didn't win last year.
No.
3 out of 4.
Forget what it was.
Who won last year is Soto, didn't he? Pretty sure it was Juan Soto that won last year.
Shows you how much we care about the home run derby.
Well, I mean,
we don't even...
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.?
Yeah, Vladdy Jr.
Okay. I remember it was like the first Dominican player since I forget. Yeah, here we are, the pros talking about this, huh?
Vladdy. Yeah, Vladdy won. Does it look like there's only 6 guys announced right now?
So maybe that's why we don't have the odds up.
It's not normally. Are they looking for like 2 more? Do they do 8?
I think they got to get 8.
Yeah. And
8,
when
right?
we went over the rules last week, it said 8 was the original pool.
Yeah.
But now they're like on their website, they're posting their confirmed like social media posts to show that the guys that are in, and as it stands right now, there's 6.
Yeah, it says that in this article too.
So bet the field, whoever those last 2 entries are, that's who I'm taking with the long odds to add it. The guys that get added. The guys that get added.
So honestly, not my favorite options, but Marcell Ozuna and Pete Alonso, I imagine would be the favorites.
Pete will be the favorite.
Pete,
having won it multiple times. he should be up there. Jose Ramirez, though, like, man, I don't know what the new rules are exactly, so I'm totally out of touch with that. I know you went over it a little bit, but I just don't care that much.
He never
listen or pay attention. But, like, it's a marathon swinging up there, you know? So a guy like Ozuna, big guy,
true,
he might run out of gas. If he looks like he's out of gas in his third at bat over the weekends, like, I don't know if he's going to have the stamina, but
that's great analysis.
That's
for a guy that doesn't care about the details, you certainly give great detail when deciding who you're going to bet on, and that's a great point. I love the field bet. Can we bet on that now? Get it up at Parx app.
Bet the
I want to bet the field right now.
Alec Boehm has the least amount of home runs this season out of all the guys announced so far.
So one of the things that we're going to be missing out on the betting, if I do recall the new rules, I think it is that, you know, it's not the head-to-head. So Ramirez versus Ozuna, right? But that was a lot of fun to bet who's going to win the head-to-head matchups. Yeah. But I think now you could probably bet that Bobby Witt is going to hit more home runs than Alec Boehm, or Alec Boehm is going to hit more home runs than Gunnar Henderson. Sure. Probably in that first round is going to be your options.
Well, so how it works is there's 8 guys. They all get the same amount of time. Whoever is the top 4 with the most home runs
will go on.
So, yeah.
And then they do a head-to-head?
And then they do head-to-head.
Oh, so then you're going to be doing a little bit of live betting.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, when you get those matchups, we'll have to hit that hard. I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot.
Yeah, we'll talk about it afterwards, and we'll see. But I do like bet the field. I like that.
Bet the field? The last 2 entries, whoever they are, you're just going to take them? I like that.
Yeah. I'm a gambling woman right now.
She's a gambling woman.
I like it. Okay, guys.
Speaking of gambling, though, before we get into it here, Marksy?
Yes,
we're
sir.
on a little bit of a streak here. We're 2 out of our last 3 with Marx and the Maniac money line. All right. We're digging very, very, very deep tonight to try to get 2 in a row. I don't know, Marks. I put this one together for us. I haven't been, confiding in you in terms of who you want.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I'm fine with that.
We're hot right now. So let's just, if it ain't broke,
so he's
don't
like,
fix
so let me do it.
But we got the Guardians to win outright and the Nationals to win outright. It was a parlay of plus 368 over at Parx. We are boosting those odds to plus 500. We're boosting this one to plus 500, Marks.
No way. How are you getting this done? That's not fair. Last week, if people would have listened to us or you or us,
I do my thing. I think we cost us 20 grand 2 weeks ago. People took the bet and it hit. So we'll see if we can hit them where it hurts some more here over at Parx.
All right.
Yeah, I was just looking up who they play, and I like those actually.
The thing is that you got Patrick Corbin pitching for the Nationals, who it's just absolutely absurd that he still has a job. I feel like that guy just gets his head beat in every time he takes the mound. But Mets, Nationals, kind of a little bit of a rivalry here, and Luis Severino is pitching for the Mets, so you never know what you're going to get with that guy. Maybe Corbin can sneak one out for us tonight. I really like that. And the Guardians, they're one of my favorite teams. They're just absolutely one of my favorite teams. Good story this year. And Tanner Beebe is on the mound for them. I really like him. He's their ace. So we got a chance.
The Phillies were very much interested in Patrick Corbin too when he signed with Washington. They got outbid by Washington.
Wow.
The amazing thing about him, at what point, they're just going to have him pitch the rest of his contract? How do you not release him? He's been that bad. He does give you, he's healthy all the time. He sucks,
right?
But he's healthy. I forget how much, he got like 125 million or something crazy, but he
helped to win a World Series.
He's 30 games under 500. 42-72 with a 5.06 ERA. That sucks.
He gets lit.
But not tonight.
Not tonight. Tonight he's going to throw a gem for us, Mark.
Well, now I know why it's plus 500.
Let's go. Yes. So, when I put these things together, I like to take a little favorite, pair it with a dog.
Right.
That's what we've been doing. That's our strategy. I like our chances tonight. Nats are a scrappy team. Scrappy squad. Love the manager. Who's the manager? Mark's there. I forget his name. Hernandez something.
Freddie Gonzalez. No, who is the
Yeah.
Dave Martinez. Sorry.
Is it Dave Martinez still?
Yeah. He gets his guys up.
He was
trying guys to play.
It seemed like that the Nationals weren't really happy with him for a couple of years there, but he was able to ride out the bad streak. No, when you
won a World Series.
When you watch the Nationals play, it feels like that they're overachievers, right? They have a decent amount of talent and young talent, but they know how to play. I agree. I mean, they're a decent team.
Cheers. I like Keibert Ruiz, switch hitting catcher. Can't get enough.
Patrick Corbin, I looked it up, by the way. 6 years, $140 million.
Ooh, I don't think he's been good for any of those years.
But
no,
he's got $140 million,
and he's got a World Series ring, and he pitched
year
amazing
with Washington
for them.
His first year, they were 14-7. He was 14-7 with a 3.2 ERA.
There you
Every
go.
year after that, though, he sucked.
Okay, guys, before we wrap this up, I have a new fun game.
Let's do it.
And it's called True or Not.
True or Not.
Yeah. So you got to say, I'm going to give you a fact, and you have to say if it's a real fact or not. Okay. So number 1, Tim Wakefield has more career strikeouts than Roy Halladay. True or not?
Not.
True.
It is true.
Wow.
To be fair,
R.I.P.
Tim Wakefield. Both.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I know. That's
really
tough, right?
starting off here.
But fun fact, Tim.
Don't
Wakefield,
talk ill of the dead.
He played like 18 seasons, and Roy only played like 15. So
the knuckleballer, Timmy Wakefield.
Not a lot of people remember. He was a rookie pitching for the Pirates when they, I guess, still had Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonilla. And he actually started a game in the National League Championship Series where he's this hotshot young pitcher.
Right.
He wasn't a knuckleballer. He didn't start throwing the knuckleball until he failed, and then he went to the knuckleball. And it's amazing to think that he pitched 18 seasons. I always loved Wakefield. I love the occasional knuckleballer that comes up there.
He was like a cheat code in all the video games when I was growing up. If you could, you just get him and throw him, you were in a good spot.
Yeah, and I looked it up. Roy Halladay has 2,117 career strikeouts. Tim Wakefield 2,156 strikeouts.
But still, that's pretty impressive. That Wakefield's a lot more strikeouts than I would have thought he did, even with 18 years.
I know. I thought that was a fun one. Okay, next one. For someone to break Ricky Henderson's stolen base record, they would have to average over 50 stolen bases for 29 years.
True or false?
Yeah, is that true or not?
That is not true.
That is true. It's 100% true.
It is true.
Wow.
I know. I actually had this pulled up earlier.
I saw the same thing, and that's partly how I knew the answer to it.
But
Ricky Henderson was that kind of a player. He was an amazing player, Ricky Henderson.
And it's crazy now because now they've implemented all these new rules that increase the likelihood of stealing bases, but that record will never be broken.
Literally cannot. 50 stolen bases for 29 years.
That's insane.
That is insane.
Absolutely insane.
How many did what's his name from the Braves have last year? Acuna? 70?
Something crazy, yeah.
And even that's like insane. And if you doubled 50, that'd be 100 stolen bases for what?
73 last year
15
for
years.
Acuna.
Jeez, man.
Yeah.
That's scary.
So a couple of those seasons together.
No, you would need 15 years of 100 stolen bases.
Which will never happen.
No.
Which will never happen. It
ain't happening.
Baseball, so it's just a really fun one.
That is
baseball.
Fun.
When I like my first real vivid memories of baseball was when the St. Louis Cardinals were really good, mid 80s, and they had their whole team was speed. Vince Coleman, they were almost like the home run hitters, the guy that could steal the base. That Vince Coleman had over 100 steals. I don't know how many times. William McGee and Ricky Henderson. So yeah, I mean the game's changed quite a bit, but still, I'm glad the stolen base is back.
Well, and it was also like how we talked about
Lou Brock.
with the 24 All-Star games in 23 seasons. That can't happen anymore, but it's a fun one that will never be broken. Okay, and lastly, you guys
You
probably
only got 3? Damn.
Do you want more? I do have more.
Here,
I
put
was
your
just
phone
trying
down.
to
We
spread
can't
them.
see your face.
Oh,
There
sorry.
you go.
You're right. Got to think about the camera,
Gotta
Sam.
think about the camera, Sammy.
Okay, this one's actually fun. And I think it's true. I didn't
Now we're
fact
having
check
fun.
this one. Yeah, so this one is, I just gave it away. I think it's true. Clayton Kershaw's great uncle discovered Pluto.
I'll say true.
Yeah, gotta be true.
I think it's true. Like I said, I just believed that one. I did.
Who's
Okay, let me actually, because now I have
Now
to.
you
go
have
in.
to. All right, wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Oh, wait, okay.
Clayton Kershaw. Go ahead. You got another one?
Yep,
All
because I had to go through my list of true or not.
Clyde
true or not?
Tombaugh?
Wait, say that again?
Clyde Tombaugh is who discovered Pluto.
Type in his
Can we
name
talk
and say,
about
is he
Clayton
related to
Kershaw, though,
Kershaw?
real quick? Just
Yeah.
about him.
That's what these are supposed to do.
Sure.
I mean, 36 years old. Obviously, he's lost a little bit, right? But,
Yeah.
like, that guy was pitching in the NLCS versus the Phillies when he was 19 years old. It's a shame that he's not able to be, in this series and pitching.
I was just going to say, has
And
he ever won a World Series?
Never.
He's
Yeah, well, they did. They were 2020 COVID World Series. That really
But
actually
not
count.
not with Kershaw as he's the ace. He goes out there, big game. He's winning it. He did not do that.
Yeah, and
At least I remember.
And he's up there with, like, he was a guy that pitched game 1 of the World Series, game 4, and then closed in game 7.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Yep. Yeah, the Randy Johnson performances. We see Kurt Schilling with the bloody sock. You're talking about that gutsy Pedro, Roger Clemens. Yeah, he's that kind of pitcher.
Yeah, true baseball lifer right there.
And
Anything.
got lit up
Yep.
in the postseason last year against the Diamondbacks, giving up 6 runs, only got.
Well, that's what's
one
sad
in the
about it.
third.
I feel like he is a great pitcher, obviously, but he's more known for not being able to perform when it actually matters.
Yeah.
That's what she said, by the way. That actually
she
sounded
said.
really funny. I couldn't let it go because I was.
That's what she said.
13-13 with a 4.49 ERA
In the playoffs.
in the playoffs. 1 save. You mentioned that, Pat. 39 appearances. So Clayton Kershaw, like, all right. So you think of Kurt Schilling. What do you think of Kurt Schilling? Bloody sock.
Bloody sock.
Winning a World Series with
Mitch
the Red
I was
Sox.
going to say Cy
which
Young.
wasn't
Yeah.
done. Like Kurt Schilling was an amazing pitcher. He's one of the best big game pitchers I've ever seen. He did it with the Phillies. Game 5 of the NLC or the World Series, game 5 or that NLCS. Yeah, game 5 NLCS. 148 pitches, complete game. 148 pitches. This dude was a stud. He's just he's an idiot. But his teammates, this is what they said about him. What's the famous quote that he's a horse's ass one day of the week and the other 4 he's a horse, right? Like he is, or the other way around. Once a week he's a horse. No, he's an amazing pitcher. So Clayton Kershaw, you don't think about that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And he's done the same stuff that, like, Madison Bumgarner's done and Randy Johnson has done in that World Series, but
Kershaw's a better overall pitcher than Kurt Schilling because of the regular seasons. Kurt Schilling didn't have great regular season stats more than a couple of years, right? Kershaw.
Now that we're talking about this, he'll be pitching game 5 NLCS, Phillies, Dodgers, and
no, it'll be the NLDS
stick
against
it in
the
our-
Braves. Hopefully,
Stick it in our ear.
He's 25-8 with an ERA.
NLCS, they could play the NLCS.
Like 2-3.
no, because we'll be there.
The last season of
Play them.
I'm saying I don't want to play him and have him perform well. That's why I was saying NLS.
Oh, I'm just saying now we're talking ill of him and he'll come back and.
So here's a question. Do we have sister casinos in different cities where we could have possible playoff matchups? You know what I mean?
No, I don't believe so.
We have one in Shippensburg.
Probably a ton of Mets fans.
Oh,
up
wait,
there.
Michigan. We do. Playgun Lake.
Playgun Lake, Detroit. I don't think the Tigers have a run in them. But
Yeah.
Well.
yeah.
Maybe one day. We'll see. But last one. This one's fun. True or not, Nick Castellanos holds the NL record for consecutive games without an error.
this is true.
This is true.
It is true. 407 games. You guys want to speak ill of Nick Castellanos? You better put respect on his name.
I'm not speaking ill of him. I love the guy. He's a gamer. He's a total gamer. But that is the most hogwash stat ever. Like, he doesn't get to balls. That's why he doesn't make errors on them.
Gold glove?
Sure. No, he's not getting a gold glove. I'm sorry. No,
but at least, but you know what?
You gotta have some putouts to have a gold glove.
No,
I don't know if he has any of that.
He's made big catches in big spots.
You're right.
And at least he makes the routine play. Reese Hoskins couldn't he stopped making routine plays at first base. He couldn't catch the ball. It was hit right to him. So at least Castellanos isn't a liability in right field. He's not the best right fielder.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, he's been fine out there.
He has been quoted in interviews and stuff saying how hard he works to be a good outfielder, and that he's constantly working on it and constantly honing in on his craft so that he can, just barely get to balls.
Well, I was just going to say the only ill thing you can say about his fielding is just that he's slow.
Yes.
So he's putting in the work. He's just not the fastest guy.
He's not getting the balls that the elite right fielders are getting to, or even, better defenders. By the way, so Clayton Kershaw, it's his great uncle that discovered Pluto.
So it is true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Pluto.
I thought it was true.
Pluto. Yep. He had to one up his great uncle and become one of the best major league starting pitchers in history. I like that.
Well, yeah, and his uncle got downgraded, poor guy, because Pluto's not even a real planet anymore.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Wow.
He was a complete fraud. It's almost like
he lied to us all.
It did. Like
he's a fraud, like Clayton Kershaw in the playoffs.
Yeah, it didn't even exist.
Runs in the family, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
I had to learn in school, and now they're like, yeah, Pluto's on a planet anymore. How does that work? What do you mean?
Yeah,
it's
a dwarf something.
Yeah, speaking about frauds, though, this is something we could probably throw on the Instagram here. Marksy put us on to, what is it, 680 FM down there in Atlanta?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, they're puffing their chest outs a little bit after taking 2 of 3 from the Philadelphia Phillies. John, I want your take. They post a little Instagram, enjoy your flight home. The picture from Wimbledon.
Maybe Mark could pop it up there in post-production.
Yeah, maybe you can find that for us there, Mark. What's your take on that there, Marks?
Well, if you read the comments, the fans are also saying like, yeah, we're going to win the wild card and then win the World Series this year. We're going to do what the Phillies have done to us. So that right now, the strategy of the Brave fan is to say the regular season doesn't matter, which they're right. The regular season doesn't matter. The Braves are going to make the playoffs. The Braves are still a very viable team. They are. But the Phillies have been in their head the last couple of years. Remember last year, they simulated a game and they brought fans in to make it feel real because they had lost the year before because they had too long of a layoff. So now they're like, oh, what are we going to do? And they simulate games because the Phillies are in their head. So I feel great. Losing 2 or 3 to the Braves, should they feel great about that? Winning it? No, they won 2 or 3. Like, you shouldn't feel one way or another. It's better to win 2 of 3 than to not win 2 or 3. But like, just with your little memes and your pictures that you put out there, like, it just doesn't look a little pathetic that you're that excited after winning 2 of 3 against the Phillies at home. I don't want to even bring up the injury stuff with the Phillies being shorthanded because the Braves are shorthanded.
Right.
So I'm not even going to say about the injuries. I think the Braves dominated the Phillies in Game 2 and Game 3 of that series. They really did. The Phillies were kind of just happy to go home.
Right.
But enjoy it. Enjoy the win in July, the week before the All-Star break. Enjoy the series win. We'll see you later.
I love it. And I just want to add that even after those losses, we were still 8 games up on them in the division. And to your point, you don't want to mention the injuries, but their biggest injury is a pitcher who goes once every 5-6 days. Our biggest injuries were 2, 3 with JT, guys in our lineup that are huge, huge pieces every single day. So if you want to factor in the injuries, which I respect you for not putting it in, the Phillies, I think, are more of a hit there for every single day play.
Absolutely. I mean, I love it. I love finding this post. I'm very, very happy that you have put me in contact with the people over at 680 to the Fan, because I was going to take it easy on them. I was going to take it easy. Maybe we should call in. I was going to take it easy on them because of the unfortunate, injuries to their two best players on their roster. But now they've awoken the beast. So I am now following you, 680 The Fan, and I will not let up.
All right, so how about this?
Enjoy the second half.
How about this? And let's save this for another episode because the All-Star break's next week. But we can infiltrate them. And we can get it, and we can do something fun with these guys.
Because
I have story. I was listening to sports radio in Atlanta last year during the playoffs just to see what they were saying, and man, do I have some stories about what I listened to down there.
Yeah,
so we'll save it for
team that complained about the week off, and now they're all excited to have the wild card spot. Hey, we'll take the extra rest. We'll be fine.
I honestly think that they just put it all in their own head. You know what I mean?
No, there are stats. They've only done it for 2 years, so the body of work is very small. But there are stats that back it up. That
but even with them with the simulation, like they did their own simulation games to keep playing.
Yeah, but still, I don't think it gives you that same vibe. That's shutting it down for a week.
No, but I mean, if you look at how the Phillies were playing entering that series against them, they were hot. Right. And it might have helped them against the Diamondbacks because the Phillies needed a reset and then get back to where they were before. They ran out of gas at the wrong point, at the wrong time. So the Braves are a very good team. They're dangerous. Bottom line, the Braves are dangerous. They're pitching and they're
Ozzy.
Yeah, I mean they are dangerous. So if they meet in the playoffs, it's going to be a fun series. I welcome it. Awesome.
I was pulling in the driveway just the other night, and it was like so stinking hot out still at like 8:30, and I just was thinking about playoff baseball is around the corner in a couple months.
Which also means it's football. That is the best time of year. You get football, you get playoff baseball. No argument about it. The best time of year.
It is great. It is great.
Yeah. Fun fact. Because it made me think of...
Fun fact.
Yeah. October 16th, Bryce Harper birthday. Also Marlowe's birthday. That's
wow. No shout out to Marlo.
Yep. Just saying. True baseball lifers over here. But we didn't go out of the Parx with John Marks. So before we wrap it up, John.
Oh, John, you're on
Athletics in town this weekend before we go into that All-Star break.
It's not always that the Athletics are in town.
How did I do last week? Did I hit right away again and then nothing happened over the weekend?
Yes.
Did it happen again? Well, doesn't it just feel like that Schwarber's got a little mini streak in him here before we get to the All-Star break? Right? Like he's coming off an injury. And by the way, never play him in left field again.
Yeah.
He hurt his groin in left field. Just keep him as a DH every single game. I'm going to go Schwarber. And I was taking a look to see like, all right, what are the odds? What are the odds? And you get pretty good value. When he gets hot, it changes significantly. So Bryce seems like even though last night Bryce sprinted to first base, I'm like, oh, Jesus, what are you doing, man? You just worry that he's going to hurt the hamstring again. I'm going Kyle Schwarber.
I got one for you. Take a flyer on my boy, the catcher for the Oakland A's, Shea Langoliers is going yaya.
Did you just want to say that last name?
What about Stubbsy?
He's a great ball player. Great ball player.
Why don't you put some money on Stubbsy going?
Is he going to play? I heard they're going to put Marchand in center field.
He can handle it. Marchand. No, Stubbs will get one game. You'll know the game. You'll see the starting lineup.
I kind of like Bryce for this weekend, just because everybody's gonna always play off the history of the A's and Philadelphia A's and blah blah blah. So I feel like since it's a historic thing, we'll probably see Bryce pregame come out with a historic shirt or shoes or something for the Philadelphia A's, and I think he's gonna go long.
Okay,
next level. I love it.
Next level.
Yeah, you got to think about it, man.
Shea Langoliers, book it.
I love it. Okay, guys, I love that show. I had a great time with you guys this week.
I love hanging out with you guys.
So everybody listening to this, thank you for tuning in to
like and subscribe.
Number 15. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Number 15 show in the books. We're rolling now, boys and girls.
And John, I don't even know if we told you, but if you don't know, now you know. We're taking off next week for the All-Star break. So we will be back the following week for episode 16. And we'll be rocking and rolling.
We'll be rested, ready
Yeah.
to talk about the All-Star game, talk about the upcoming series versus the Pirates. It's going to be good stuff.
So there we go.
Let's do it.
All right.
We'll see you guys then.
Go Birds.